Hi, I'm back.
Same recording.
I'm going to talk about my freshman year show, which was crazy for you. I just remember it being such a fun show and getting to spend time with a bunch of freshman girls all the time was super fun. And there wasn't that much drama at all. We all got along. We had a Snapchat group chat. The songs are absolutely iconic. They're George Gershwin songs. So I've been able to recognize these songs outside of the musical. I've heard I've Got Rhythm a lot. Even at my high school this year, the jazz band played it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know that song from a musical I did freshman year. And it's cool just to be able to take a musical and being able to recognize them in real life. In terms of my role, there were the freshman girls who got the main dance chorus, freshman girls who got 2 songs, and then there was me. So I was in a chorus with a bunch of sophomores, and I was in 2 transitions roughly, and an extra song than the majority of my freshman friends. I've got a lot of experience in changing costumes. I had 4 costumes total. The costumes I had were New York Crossing, which was a widow outfit, very posh and rich. And that was a super fun costume to wear. One of my favorite costumes to date. The second costume that I loved was my Real American Folk Songs dress, was the costume that all of my freshman friends also wore. The third costume was one of the I've Got Rhythm costumes that I got to wear. It was a gold skirt look. It was a skirt and then a leotard, and it's very beautiful underneath the lights. Fourth one is my Girl Walking Home. I had about a 3-second debut, insert here, of me walking across the stage with one of my friends, laughing and then walking off, and that was a whole costume in itself, and I got to hide in a little cave off stage, which was really fun. It was just a musical that I had a blast in, honestly. Just everything was so exciting because it was the first time I got to perform there, because I watched so many musicals before that musical, and then getting to perform was very exciting. In terms of acting knowledge acquired, I would say I learned a lot about timing and making myself seen. I was put in the back row frequently, just working with what I was given. I was given a couple times when I was supposed to stand on stairs, and I was seen then, and in the back row, just making sure I had windows. In terms of directors' relationships, I worked with multiple directors in the show. For the New York Crossing bit, I got to work with one of the sweetest directors I have yet to work with, and he's really patient and kind and thoughtful and just an amazing person, and I miss him very much, but that was really cool to be able to see the difference between 2 separate directors. In terms of overall work environment, it was quite an experience. They're long hours after school, and I always had to wait for my brother, so I'd be spending 4 or 3 hours after school. Not every day, just the days that he was called, but I would only work for about 20 minutes at max. Sometimes I'd go to rehearsal and I wouldn't even work, and then I'd go home. Seeing everyone work on stage was but I'm not in those scenes, just feeling left out and stuff. I'll get to that later. There's definitely more of that experience in future productions, but that was something I experienced for the first time. It was interesting because in this show there was some weird politics about how many seniors you know. Some people were flexing on oh, I have so many senior friends, or I'm in this many choruses, which was just weird and not professional, just people getting a big head about so many scenes or whatever. I know it's an accomplishment to be in a bunch, but it did kind of get to a toxic point where it was people competing for how many people they knew. It was kind of weird. In terms of personal growth, I definitely see a difference between my Crazy For You self and the next production that I was in, just because there was a lot experienced in between that production and the next one, because a week after we closed, the world shut down because of COVID. So it was definitely a super weird thing, but it made me appreciate that experience, and that we actually got to put on a show, and how lucky we are to have gotten a live audience. And it took up until last summer in order to get a live audience once again, which is kind of crazy that it took freshman year to the summer before junior year for that to happen. It's just wild to me. I have not stayed friends with anyone except my best friend since then. I have some connections from that. We view each other's stories and stuff, but it's not like a talking relationship anymore, which is fine. Times change. That was such a great first theater in high school experience. The longest show I ever did up until that point. And it was super fun to get to see the process from the beginning to the end and not have it be a camp experience. So I'm so grateful for Crazy For You and everyone in that cast. And yeah, that was Crazy For You, freshman year production. I talked for like 7 minutes, didn't I?
See me? Oh my gosh, I see me. There's me. Oh my gosh.